You're good to go.
All right, welcome to another Thursday night of the Guitar Gear Locker. My name is Alex Books, and this is my co-host Roger Sutherland. And tonight is live show 38, right?
That is correct. 38. We
Yeah,
have a lot of shows.
yeah, it's
A lot out
crazy.
there. You know what? I did forget to tell you this when we were talking earlier. Our channel now has like 20,000 views total.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Not too
That's not
bad
bad. I mean,
for a
it
year.
hadn't grown as yeah, hadn't grown as fast as we liked it. But that reminds me, everybody like and subscribe right here at the beginning. We always forget to say that. So yeah, I mean, it's been a slow grind, but I think this is it's something where I think that maybe the guitar channels are a little bit oversaturated. Especially, I mean, when I go look at through it, it's a lot of people talking about the same stuff. So that's why I try to find different things and get your perspective on things.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Sure.
that way we get different perspectives. So what do you want to talk about first? Monday night, huh?
I don't know if we have too much stuff, but I know. Well, first of all, we went to a show the other night, so it
Monday
was
night.
guitar related wise. Myself, my wife, and Roger went to see Blood Incantation Monday night. They played in up at the Fillmore in Silver Spring, Maryland, and man, it was a great show. And I've toured with Blood Incantation a few times, but never got to you know, hello Dwight.
Right.
Never
Thanks
got
for
to
joining
really
us.
like experience them, like do like a full set, of just like a full diverse set, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so they're on their own tour, headliner, and they played the whole new album, and then they played a couple songs from the different albums, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, it was an amazing show, really really
Man.
great. And they have a keyboard player, synth player too, and it definitely brought a lot more to the table, I think, with
Definitely.
you know. But yeah, what a great fucking show. It
You
just
know, I think it's good. Like, I've listened to that a lot. And from
mm,
like when it first came out, I started listening to that. And I think I told Paul the other night, that was the first time I said, I think this for first time I've heard this Absolute Elsewhere when I wasn't in the gym.
yeah.
Not that I'm a gym rat in the gym all the time, but I usually listen to that stuff there. But they sounded better live than they do on their CD and on
Oh,
Spotify.
I totally agree.
Man, and that really says something when you can sound better live than you do like in the studio setting.
Hmm.
And like you said, the keys really added something. He was really good. They were all really good.
Yeah, yeah. It was probably the best time I've seen them, and I've probably seen them about 300 times. You think about the tours I've been on with them, but it was just like I said, it was there because they're always like one of the opening bands or something on the tour or direct support.
Right,
And this time it was them headlining, uh, you know, playing a longer set, and
right.
it was really good. It's nice to go to a show and not have to play and just kind of watch.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No, and it was, I mean, there were some funny things. I mean, to me, probably weren't funny to you. I thought it was really cool that he gave you a shout out. Yeah, I know you don't like that kind of stuff, and it probably makes you feel a little uncomfortable, but I thought that was pretty cool. Before they went into their encore. I, and I was going to say something about this. I thought it was kind of funny that there's a kid standing next to you with an immolation shirt, and he didn't realize he was standing next to you. I thought that was kind of funny too. He's like, "Yeah, immolation," and he's standing next to you and doesn't realize, like,
he's just
that's
wearing a
cool.
shirt. He don't know anything about
Yeah, it's just a shirt, but that's cool, man. It was they had
it.
a good crowd there. That's a good venue. I
Yeah,
mean, I grew up literally right around the corner, within blocks of that place. And
yeah,
man, just seeing it now and the shows that they have there, I just wish it was there when I was a kid.
yeah.
Because then all the bitching that I do about not having anything to see when I was younger up there, maybe we would have had a scene. But yeah, it was a good venue, good crowd.
Yeah.
They were
Mhm.
pretty charged up,
Yeah.
I would say. But yeah, and there were parts, just watching them do it live, um, like that one part, where it sounds almost like Dark Side of the Moon. I didn't realize that was him. The one time I stepped on your foot, what I was saying to you is I didn't realize he sang that. I thought that, somebody did a voiceover on that. He has a really
Oh,
good clean voice too.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Both.
so
But,
yep.
if anybody out there, if they're coming to your hometown or close by, I highly suggest you go out and see great
Yep.
band.
And
And
buy Absolute Elsewhere. I mean,
yeah,
it's
great
it's
album.
awesome. So,
Yeah.
and their merch looks you know what? You know me, I was kinda goofy about that, like a little nerd boy. I bought their shirt as soon as I saw it. It had me hooked with 3 red pyramids on it. I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah. Yeah. I
So,
didn't get
yeah,
a
buy
chance
their
to really
merch, buy their
see
stuff.
all the merch, but, you know,
What's that?
I saw your merch that you got, but
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to really check out the merch table.
Oh, yeah, well, I told you, I bought one when they first launched that. Like, I bought it online. It was a good shirt, good quality, and the design on it is really cool. So, yeah, I mean, Absolute Elsewhere, listen to it. I thought,
Yeah.
great show. I really enjoyed it. Hats
Yeah.
off
I
to
mean,
them, man.
it's, even if you're not a death metal fan, I think you could appreciate something like Blood Incantation because they have such a diverse audience, really. Because there's
Yeah,
people that are not even in the metal that go out and see them, because
right.
it's the progressive '70s element to the music, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
but yeah, but great show and great band, and yeah, there's
Good time. Horrible traffic. We had to go through we didn't realize we were setting in traffic because of floods, but the entire Capitol Beltway seemed to be flooded. We saw little
Mhm.
pieces of it, and then the next day on the news, it was like, "Whoa, okay, that's why there was traffic."
Yeah,
So,
and even friends of mine tell me Jersey that bad they got hit.
yeah.
Crazy,
Yeah, it's what normally a 55-minute trip up to Silver Spring, and it was 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
My wife said, "What took you all so long to get there?" I was like, "I don't know, water."
yeah, yeah.
So, let's see, what else do we wanna talk about? Wanna
Well,
talk a little gear stuff, right?
yeah, you got a new guitar. I know that, and
Yeah.
done some things to it.
Yeah, so I showed the LTD, and I wanna before I show the guitar, so, I got the LTD Mirage. We've talked about that a little bit, and it comes with the, Seymour Duncan and then, like, the hot rail, hum single. Um, of course, and this is I have some products that I carry here that I can't necessarily demo, and I don't think that you see them around. We talked a little bit about, like, the Graphtech unlock nut. I'll show that here in a second. But, the other thing is, so I wanted to put hum single in, so I put a modern and then their, Fishman single in this, and really like it, kind of did a double, push-pull on it, so you can, you have the 2 voicings, and then I have it to where one taps and one splits, sorta like we did your last one.
Mhm.
Or no, I said Horizon, mine's a Mirage, right? Or did I say Mirage?
Yours is a Mirage. Yeah.
Mine's a Mirage. I didn't know if I said it incorrectly or not. So mine's a Mirage. Your Horizon, we wired the same way.
Mhm.
So, the one thing that I've never done, and I wanted to kinda show it, and then I'll show the real thing, is you know, really people, if you bring in a guitar that already has active pickups in it, then it generally will have the battery area in it, the little battery compartment. But if they don't, nobody really wants you, taking a router to their guitar and putting the box in there. So what I normally do is sort of, and I saw this on a lot of '80s guitars when they would come in here is, take the 9-volt battery, leave enough room if you can. And so far, I've been able to do it and everything, including that Rhodes V that I had. wrap it in foam so it doesn't wrap a 9-volt battery in foam so it doesn't rattle around. Put a zip tie or 2 zip ties around it to keep the foam around it, and then tuck it neatly down in there. So the problem with that is, I mean, it works fine, and 9 volts last a pretty long time if you don't keep your cable in it, and keep the battery draining. But when you have to change battery, then it sucks. You have to take everything apart. So on this guitar, and I wanted to show the components first, and then I'll show it on the guitar. This is the first one where I've actually done, and I've stocked these for a while. It's just nobody's really chosen to put one in here, and I haven't really pushed them as much. Maybe I will now because I really like how they fit. And I'll show the product first. I'll share up real quick. We're gonna do a little bit of screen sharing here, and then a couple images of the actual guitar, then the actual guitar. And of course I did the wrong one. So they have different configurations. This is the one for the Strat. So, and you can see up there where you have the little USB port. This is kind of the back. So this is the actual battery too, for the Strat style guitar. Let me put the one up there I meant to put up. And I know everybody's like, you think Roger would really get better at this by now? I get it, man. All right, here we go. So this is the entire system. So I mean, it is a little weird to me that you have this you have a plug here that you're now having to plug your guitar into with the USB. And we've talked about that a little bit before, but I do like how they did this. So some come with a little USB, like your guitar already has the USB connector in it. But the way they do it is this little piece right here. If you see the little notch out where the USB portion is and the little light, it's kind of a little 1/2 inch, protrusion, if you will. So there's double-sided tape that goes on that. You go behind the back cover, drill a 1/2 inch hole, and that little protruding part with the USB kind of sticks nice and neatly where it mounts flushly to the back plate of the guitar, if that makes any sense. And I'll show it here in a second. So that goes underneath, and what you see there is that on your back plate. This will be the back side of it. And then that's, oh, wait a minute, your battery is this piece right here. So that's kind of the kit part of it. Now, a real life application, we'll show that real quick. This is, and unfortunately, I can't use a pointer on this when I share a picture like this. But if you look to the bottom left of the picture, you can see the battery. If you remember from the last picture, you see the red and black wires are not connected to anything at this point, just laying in there. But it tucks nice and neatly, and there's double-sided tape on it to where it sticks right over there on the inside of the electronics cavity wall. Sticks there, already comes, pre-packaged with the double-sided tape on it, so it doesn't rattle around. Fit nicely between there and that push-pull pot next to it, the tone pot. So like I said, really nice little application. Doesn't rattle around. Not packing a 9-volt in the foam. And then this is an example of the battery, and then you can kind of see how it connects. And so the piece up at the top that looks like the PC board is the backside of the USB port, and it has double-sided tape on it also, and it sticks right there. And as you can see, I have it kind of centered in the cavity right there, so it fits right down on top of the pots. Doesn't make contact to where it's going to short anything out. So nice clean little thing they have there. I like it. I didn't realize, and I've carried these for quite a while, and didn't really push them because I didn't know that I would like them. But I was pleasantly surprised with the installation. It went. I mean, anybody can do this. Tell you the truth. Um, but I think it goes well with their Fishman pickup set. Um, Now it is a little, and I'll show you the so the actual guitar. I mean, it looks a little different when you're seeing a cord hanging out of the guitar with the red light, but I can hold it up there and hopefully you can see. There you go.
Yep.
Nice. I mean, it doesn't. I was a little worried, with not really with my guitars, but with other people's guitars that, if I go drilling a hole in their back plate, that it's going to be jagged or look like crap or whatever. But it nice clean hole, and the way that fits in there, it's completely flush, so you wouldn't have to worry about it. Like, when you rub across there, you can't even feel it. Well, I mean, hardly. Something's there, but yeah, I was pretty happy with that, the way it installed. I think that I'm gonna probably start pushing those more with the installs of the Fishman systems. And like I said, it's a little. I don't know why it's odd seeing a USB port and charger on the back of an electric guitar, but I think it's something we're all going to get used to. It's the future.
Yeah.
And it's a hell of a lot better than, I always worried about my Rhodes V. It's like, oh God, when that battery goes dead, that's going to be like, it was a lot to get everything packed in that little cavity. So, yeah, this is the way to go. I mean, as everybody knows, we're big fans of Fishman, and I think they did a good job with this, and it was well thought out. So the other thing that I did with this guitar is we talked about this last week, is the I'll show it first. It is the Graphtech unlock nut. So this is Graphtech's answer to the locking nut on a Floyd Rose system, which I like. It's second nature for you. We've talked about that before. Like when you're playing and tuning, you immediately go down to the fine tuners, where for me, it's always like, because I play a lot of Strats and Les Pauls and things like that. But I do have a lot of guitars with Floyd's on it, but my first instinct is always up here. Then I'm like, oh God, let me go go in another room, get a wrench, loosen everything up, get everything tuned. So when I heard they had this, I started stocking them, but I didn't really have anything, again, like the battery, to show. Like when people said, well, what's it do? How's it work? I had never really could show them because I didn't have it on anything. So we did put it on this. I'll show you first of all, that's how everything turned out with the Fishmans. I went with the gold Fishman. It looks a little bit like yours, actually.
Yeah.
Except with the gold. So that is the
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice and clean. The only thing about these is you have to have locking tuners. So that guitar didn't come with locking tuners. I ordered them, and Sweetwater sent them. Got them in today. Threw them on real quick to see how. And I got to play it a little bit, but I'm still like I want the tuning to be stable, and that's kind of what Graphtech is known for. Anything I put a Graphtech nut on, it seems like it improves the tuning stability. So I'm hoping that I get the same results with this. I played it for about a half hour earlier before I ran out of time and had to get ready for this. It did okay, but it's probably, I was telling you earlier, it's a little unfair because, I was in a rush, so I kept the same strings. They're not old strings, but they were on the old tuners. I do have this Floyd floating. It doesn't have a trem stop on it. So, kind of comparing it to something with a trem stop that, stays in tune really well. But it did fine. I mean, for the little bit that I played it, once I got it kind of played in, it felt fine. And I like the fact that I can now set my fine tuners like midway. If I need them, I need them, but I can kind of get it dialed in with the regular tuners.
Mhm.
So far so good. This is, it's going to be my player, but it's also now a demo for a couple of different things for people when they come in here, if they're looking, or if we're talking about it on the show. At least we can talk about it with some experience now. Before, like I said, I just had these. I ordered a bunch when they first came out from Graphtech. I mean, their guitar tech at Graphtech said they work really well.
Mhm.
And I think he's right. I think it looks cleaner. The one thing is, sometimes guitar players can be a little nostalgic, and I have that problem also.
Mhm.
So, I don't know. I don't know how I feel right now when I look at it. Visually, it looks different. You're used to seeing those 3 blocks up there, especially for the people that do the FU tone and the different colors and things like that.
Mhm.
That does take that away. So
Yeah.
maybe Gravtech can make some different. I don't know.
I'm sold on the Graphtech
Yeah.
idea because I haven't tried it yet, but I'm gonna, one of my guitars I think I told you about. I'm gonna try it
Do
out.
you have Gravtech on any of yours? Evan's with us.
No,
Howdy, Evan.
nope.
Thanks
Oh,
for joining us. Yeah,
um,
so we're gonna have to do a couple of yours. We've talked about them a little bit. Usually, when somebody brings in a guitar, when it's new to them, whether it's brand new or just new to them, they'll start wanting to do upgrades. That's what we want to do, and they'll say, "Well, what's the best upgrade I can do right now? Should I put locking tuners on it?" I like to steer them like a pretty cost effective upgrade is a Graphtech nut, because they do, in my opinion, help out a lot with tuning stability. Especially if you get strings that are getting caught in the nut a little bit,
mhm.
helps out. So yeah, so I'm a big fan. Have been a big fan. The other thing is the again, I know we sometimes I repeat myself because we have different people watching. So if you watch every week, you've heard me talk about this before. Graphtech makes saddles also for Strat style guitars, PRS style guitars. That type of bridge, and the material that touches the string is made out of that synthetic, graphite material, whatever you want to call it. And it helps a lot also. I've seen those improve, people being able to, use their trem bar and things like that, and do a little bit of whammying, if you will. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm pretty happy with it so far. But 30 minutes. I'll give an update next week after I get to play it some more. I'm probably gonna put. I think right now I have 1048s on it. I'm probably gonna throw some 11s on it and
Mhm.
probably put it in D, and see how it does there. Just give it a
Yeah.
test spin and see how it does.
Mhm.
But I think that could be, my opinion, that could be a game changer for guys on stage that are performing out. You know,
Yeah,
one
sure.
less step, not having to carry the wrenches or the little magnetic thing on the
Yeah,
back of
yeah,
the stock.
yeah, and
So
I tell you, I hate dealing with that, with
yeah, yeah,
opening the lock, closing it up, because then you gotta fine tune it and
yeah,
get it
yeah.
straight and yeah,
Well,
so,
and that's
you know
the pain in the rear end part of it is, sometimes, and I think you and I did some of this too, and it may be all the time, for all I know. I'll just say sometimes you have to, before you lock down those nuts, you have to make sure they're just a little flat,
Mhm.
thinking that when you snug them up, they're going to sharpen up a little bit and come up and be perfectly in tune, and then dial them in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a lot of extra parts. They're different, and, we as guitar players don't always like different, so
Well, you really know if it stays in tune if you go off on the Floyd for a while. Just,
well,
and see what happens,
so I
for
it
real.
it's funny because, let me see if I can do this and keep it where I have to do it backwards. I'm trying to, so I can't. So I like to, when I'm setting up people's guitars, I like to get the strings like that all the way down and then check it. That's not bad. I don't know if you can hear it, but that's not bad. I'm in a little contorted area right here. So, I like, you've seen me do it before. So I like to drop it all the way down when it's on the bench to where the strings are just hanging there like spaghetti, then release it and see if it stays in tune. That, I mean, I don't know if you could hear it, but that wasn't bad right there. So, I mean, I don't have a tuner on it to see if they're perfectly in tune, but yeah, in the ballpark anyways, by ear. So pretty happy so far. I'll give an update next week, see how it does. So then,
to circle back to the Fishman battery, I could be wrong, so I don't have too much experience because I only have one guitar with the USB, and I've only used that guitar for like a couple shows, so I can't really, compare it to some of the other guitars on tour. But from what I was told is that the USB battery, you get more playing time out of that when it's fully charged than the 9-volt. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah, I don't know how it is compared to the 9-volt, but I used to know the exact figure, but now that I'm on the spot, I can't remember if it is 140 hours or 180 hours that they advertise. It's somewhere. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, not bad. So it's not like it's not like your cell phone where every time you go to bed you have to plug it into a charger. So I don't think that's going to be the problem with the guitar. It's going to be something where you charge it up and then a couple months later you're like, where the hell's my cord? If you're anything like me.
And other Fishman news, you're the one who actually informed me about this, is Fishman has a wireless guitar wireless as well.
Let me hit a share on this.
Yeah. I'm pretty curious about it.
Yeah, this is the Fishman Fluence podcast. Oh, let's see. What was that thing called? Oh, here we go. Yeah, just announced. I saw this the other day. I saw an email come through from my rep the day before they announced and went live with it. I don't know if it's out of stock because it's so new or it's that good that it already sold. But yeah, I'm definitely I'm going to be ordering some of these and definitely trying them out and offering them for sale, of course.
I'm going to watch some videos tonight.
Yeah.
Found out about this. So, I was, discussing with Roger right before the show started because we're talking about this Fishman Wireless. And so I use Shure Wireless, which are great wireless. But my problem with it is that the wires for the unit, that you connect, that you plug in, the wires are so flimsy on those Shure because they're great wireless. They work fantastic. I love the tuner on it. It's like my favorite tuner. It's just super accurate and easy. And but the problem is the wires, So and I'm not sure if there's any other people out there that have any experience with the Shure Wireless like I do, being on tour. So if you have a wireless unit and you're a touring musician, you want something that's durable. You don't want something that constantly breaks, especially when you got flimsy wires that are like, like a dental floss or something like that. I'm probably exaggerating a little bit, but it's very thin.
Sure.
And so I'm actually curious about that Fishman put out a wireless.
So
up to this wireless unit.
Same subject, but question about that. What when you all are on tour and you all and most bands, is there a certain amount of redundancy? Like, I keep 2 wireless systems, I keep extra cables, I keep extra this, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll usually have some like extra parts, but actually on the last tour, Ross's the battery inside the wireless died, so we ordered a new battery before it would not charge.
really?
So who knows what I haven't asked him about that recently. And
Yeah,
then Bob was having some issues with his wireless. The same thing I was talking about, loose connections and things like that. So, I guess I'm complaining about it because I think it's a great unit, but my problem is some of the wires that are there are not they're not durable. So
yeah,
what I'm getting at, if you're a professional musician and you're a touring musician, you want something that's durable, going to
yeah,
last out the road. You don't want something that's going to
yeah.
constantly break down on you. So,
Well,
I
it
don't
sounds
know.
like it's a good
That's
product, but,
my vent for wireless. So I'm very curious about the Fishman one.
yeah, it sounds like a good system, but it has a big failure point, right?
It's a great system, and it's just, like I said, the wires, the
Now now
wireless.
how and we got to talk about this for just a couple seconds before we went live, but let me throw it back up on the screen again, because I'm really curious. Oh, geez, what is that? I'm curious to see, like we talked about, yours hooks up to the and anybody in the comments, you can kick in your opinion also. We have a few people watching. Um, yours attaches to your strap, but I mean, on this one, especially on a Strat, you have it hanging off the front.
Mhm.
On this guitar, it's hanging down here. I mean, is that just like built to break?
It could get in your way if you're Bob and you're running swinging the guitar.
That's true.
Me,
Yeah,
I don't move, so
yeah.
this is
So,
my function right here. This is my move.
and that's weird. You would think that they would. I don't know. We'll have to look at this. 9 hours. 9 hours of power. Jeez,
Mm.
that's not bad.
Yeah, so ours get 12, I believe, 12
Yeah,
hours, fully charged. Like I said, I love the Shure. I just don't like, the cables that they
yeah,
use. So,
yeah,
they're not very durable.
yeah. And I'm curious to see how this. I don't use wireless systems, but I'll probably try this. And almost everybody I'm dealing with is using some sort of wireless system, and more are like this, where they're just kind of hanging out of the end of the guitar.
Mhm.
A lot of local guys that I see around here are using these.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm curious. I'll probably, as I told you, like I'm gonna be parked in the beach next week, but I'll be back for this next Thursday night. So probably while I'm on the beach, I'm gonna call my rep and see if I can
Rub
get
it
a couple.
rub it in.
Excuse me?
I can't go to the beach either.
You can come to the beach. You have an inn at the beach down there.
Tell my wife and daughter that,
Your wife can get you on the special people beaches.
that is true, which
I have to go out with the riffraff. If
yeah.
anybody's on 8th Street on Virginia Beach next week, you will see me parked there. So, yeah, so I'm curious to see. I'm going to order some of these, and hopefully they'll be in next week. I don't know if they're back ordered already.
Mhm.
Maybe with being a dealer, I'll get the jump on it. I know when the Mick Thompsons first came out, it took a little bit to get those.
And those
So
and those pickups, I don't know if I spoke about the Mick Thompson pickups when we installed, Henny's guitar, and
yeah,
I play that thing. Those pickups sound really, really good, actually. So,
how would you compare them to the moderns or the Adlers?
I would say, uh, the tones are a little bit more like more gainy, like the moderns,
Yeah.
but it it does have a little bit of that kind of balance too that the Will Adlers have. Um,
Yeah.
you know, it's hard to explain. I would compare them. I think they got a little bit more gain, like the Fluence,
Right.
or the moderns. I'm sorry, the modern
Right.
Fishmans. Um, but they are pretty diverse. You
Yeah.
can get some really great clean tones out of them, and but I just think they lean a little bit more towards the moderns.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what your opinion is.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely are a little more aggressive.
Yeah,
The
the
moderns are a little more aggressive than the Adlers. The Adlers, well, I mean, the Adler, the neck isn't as aggressive as the sorry, I have to put my broken foot thing back on. My Velcro came off. Sorry. Yes, I am still dealing with that. Um, so yeah, it seems like I mean, even though the bridge is pretty aggressive on the Adlers, the neck doesn't seem as because it's supposed to be like a PAF, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But
And
yeah,
I love the neck
yeah,
pickup, the Will Adlers, actually. It's
yeah,
really great clean tones. It's even got a little bit of that, that noise you get on a single coil or a
yeah,
P90 or something like that. It's kinda got a little bit of that
yeah,
little
like a
growl.
60 cycle hum.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
Well, and I tried to get you can't buy an Adler bridge only. That's what I was trying to do
yeah,
with
yeah,
my guitar over here.
yeah.
So I think you found that out too, and I forgot about it, and I tried, and they were like, "Nope,
Well,
you can."
I'm pretty sure I asked my rep for one, and I
Yeah,
got, the set, so maybe
yeah, yeah.
I guess maybe they just don't sell them separately,
Yeah, they don't. They come as a set, and I had a set, but they're for sale, so I didn't wanna break them up. I
and
do like those though.
yeah, and just so if anybody doesn't know out there, we're talking about the comparison between the modern Fluence and Will Adler pickups to the what's his name, Mick Thomson pickups.
Oh, yeah.
The Will Adlers, and I think you'll agree with me, Roger, is the Will Adlers are kind of more of like a a kind of cross between a vintage PAF and a hot rodded PAF kind of mix,
Yep.
I would say, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So the modern Fluence is more, I mean, better than an EMG, but it's very gainy and hot, like
Yeah.
EMG 81 or something like that,
Right.
but a lot more diverse than an EMG, you
Well, and
know?
and this is my opinion, and I know everybody hears things differently. I think that the headset in the Will Adlers are
That's
very similar.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
EMG headset and the Will Adlers seem to be similar in sound to me, at least.
And that was the idea with the headset too. I
Yeah.
saw some interviews with James Hetfield saying that he wanted the diversity and openness of a passive pickup,
Right.
but he wanted the power of the active pickup. So that was kind of the idea, I think, with the
Yeah.
with the headset. And I think the Will Adler is kind of the same concept.
Yeah. Right.
But maybe the Will Adler is a little bit more vintage sounding
Yeah.
than the headset, you
Yeah.
know. So
But they're, I mean, even their, I told you I was sleeping on the, not that I didn't know they were good, but the acoustics.
mhm.
Um, I installed a ceramic under saddle acoustic, the Matrix. Man,
Mhm.
that thing was magical. So their products are super solid, I think. I like their products a lot.
Yeah, there's, I mean, great company, and I think that the Fishman pickups are, I think, one of the best kind of innovative things to come out in the guitar world in
Yeah.
years. You know,
I agree. I agree. And you know what? And I think EMG still has its place. I
Sure.
told you I just did that install, the 85 and the SASA, and
Mhm.
they sounded really good. I mean, they're I mean, it's weird to say that an EMG is almost vintage now, but that's what they remind me of like a
Yeah.
vintage, like, 80s, 19 it's weird to say the 80s would be vintage,
Mhm.
but, that's something that in my mind, you would see around in the 80s, maybe early 90s,
Yeah.
maybe even later, like late 90s, but it seems like Fishman is definitely coming on strong, and
Yeah.
I had heard about him for a long time. You introduced me to him,
Mhm.
and at the first couple sets, it was like, yeah, okay, and then, after I'd done a few more of them, it was like, okay, yeah, there's something definitely different about those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And EMG was the same thing when EMG first hit. That was groundbreaking, a pickup like that, and an active pickup,
Right.
so
But
um
you know what? That I think that it's probably going to be one of those things. Like I think EMG has probably already changed a little bit because that our ears and our musical tastes are changing.
yeah.
Some music is we've talked about music is getting more aggressive and harder in some cases.
Mhm.
Then you have the sweep pickers and tappers and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it, I think Fishman, as good as they are, it's going to push EMG to be even better. That they'll do something that's innovative, and then you know how it goes. And they
Yeah.
push each other, and that's how we come up with better innovation or
I
more
mean,
innovation.
yeah, a little need a little competition to
Yeah,
push you sometimes,
yeah. So Fishman, there's your commercial.
Yeah.
No, that it's not a. I mean, that's the funny thing. This is just stuff that we like and that we
Yeah.
talk about. We
Yeah.
never get a dime for any of this.
I mean,
Uh,
I'm endorsed by the company, but they don't
yeah,
give
you are. That's true. Yeah,
but
you're
I've said this a zillion times. I'd rather pay for a product that I like
yeah,
than endorse, a company that I, you know, I don't really care for. Like, it's not about getting stuff
right,
for free,
right.
anything that I endorse, like I am 110%
Yeah,
back and behind, the product, whether it's
right.
guitars or pickups,
Well,
so
and I'm the same way as a small business. I like dealing with the companies that I like. I like their
Mhm.
products. I like their salespeople. I like their company. So that I, if I, well, and I don't have anything against EMG. I just like Fishman's a lot, and I like their company. They've been very good to me. I like their products. So that's why I talk a lot about them. That's why I carry them.
Yeah,
If I thought they weren't good, I wouldn't affiliate myself with them. So
yeah. From the first
yeah,
time I plugged in, it was a new guitar that I got from ESP, green one actually that you worked on not too long ago, and
yeah,
they sent that guitar, and I had heard about the Fishmans, but I didn't have any experience with them aside the acoustic,
yeah,
stuff. But and yeah, from just plugging into the amp right away, like I was like, wow, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
because I was actually at that time I was about to jump ship and to passive. I
Uh-huh.
started playing, which you have one of my old guitars with the Railhammers in there.
Yep.
Railhammer is, I'm pretty sure, is affiliated with guitar, your other new guitar that you got.
Oh,
I'm
with the Reverend? Yeah, I have real hammers on
pretty
that.
sure they're like the same company or something like
Yeah,
that.
they are.
Yeah, yeah. But I really like the Railhammers
Yeah,
because they're passive pickup that you can get that are really loud and you get a lot of gain out of them, but also very diverse. You can get a lot of great
yeah,
things out of them, and because for me, I want a guitar or a pickup that I can play anything with,
right,
and
right.
I want that diversity. I'm not just full on 110, you know, percent full on extreme metal all the time.
Yeah, yeah,
know?
yep, that's true.
And like a
So
band like Blood Incantation, how when we watched the other night, like they go from one extreme to the
yeah,
other. It's super clean guitar tones and
yeah.
atmosphere. psychedelic stuff and into this, super fast, heavy death metal,
Yeah. There it sounds like multiple different bands up there when they're playing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting.
But they do it well, like
Yeah,
they pull it off, and that's a
yeah,
hard thing to pull off.
yeah, yep.
So,
So you mentioned the Reverend. I've been doing, we've talked offline about some of this. So I've been, dealing, I talked about my goofy shoulder. I have a shoulder issue, from
mm,
birth, and there's some things that's hard for me to play. Like I'm left-handed, play right-handed, so a lot of goofy stuff. So I had I talked a lot about the Ernie Ball Kaizen and the cut of that. And I know a
mhm.
lot of people are going to think it's ugly. If you look it up, it kind of is. It's just different. But in particular, I found this with a couple of guitars. I've been more, I've been driving myself crazy because palm muting for everybody is very easy, and a lot of the stuff that I'm playing now is a lot of palm muted stuff. And I've noticed over the years that's gotten wonkier with my shoulder issue. Being able to reach around the top of a guitar and lay my hand flat. So I notice I have a Majesty in here right now, that if the owner's watching it, he'll be getting it back tomorrow. Came in yesterday, and I just sat down and played it for a couple minutes before I did the setup on it. And on the Ernie balls, and I used to have one, and I noticed it also. Like your hand just kind of naturally, because the cut of the body, it kind of falls right there, and also SG. I had an SG in here recently, really cool guitar. I think it was a Signature series.
Mm.
And so I found that was easier. So then I started paying more attention to the cut of the body. So last night I was playing and I reached over and grabbed the Reverend you were talking about with the rail hammers in it. And it's like playing a dining room table. It's big.
So for you, is it more comfortable to have, because you mentioned an SG and
Yeah.
with thin body, and I find the SG is one of the most comfortable guitars to play. I'm big SG fan. So is it a thinner body that helps you as far as
Well, I don't
you-
necessarily like
you're
the
not,
so with the SG, it's just where your hand falls.
mm,
Cheech is, I'll come back to you, Cheech. I'm old, I'll lose my thought. So with the SG, I don't like I don't really like thin bodies because I used to have like a S style Ibanez and I hated it because it was too thin. I
right?
think with the SG, that's where when you're playing it, your hand just naturally falls across the bridge.
Yeah,
With this Majesty, same kind of thing. I think it's the cut in the slope of the back of the wood.
right.
So that's why that kind of it feels better with this one, with the LTD, because there's a cut in the body. I'm fine with a Strat and I'm fine with a Les Paul. It's with the bigger backs on the guitars. So yeah, it almost piqued my interest a little more. I don't know that I want a Majesty. For one thing, they're god awful expensive. They're beautiful guitars though. But there's something, and we talked about that with the new PRS with that long horn at the top of it. There's
Is that the Dream Theater guy's
Excuse me?
signature guitar? The guitarist from Dream Theater, is that his
Yeah.
signature
Uh-huh.
guitar?
John Petrucci. Yeah. Yeah. And Cheech is with us. When you worry about the connection interference using those wireless things, I'm skeptical. Sorry to um,
Well, the ones that I use, they're fantastic, and that's another question I would have about the Fishman, as far as connection, how many feet, because especially when you're playing, big European festival or something, you're playing these huge stage, and you don't want to lose.
the Fishman had, I can answer that, 150 feet wireless.
Okay,
The other thing is latency. What's the latency on yours? This is 3.3 milliseconds.
I don't know. Mine work pretty perfect, and there's also the channels too. You got to dial in the channel find. Now, Bob and Ross had a lot of troubles with their wireless as far as
Yeah.
like connections and stuff sometimes, but I never have. I think I may have had to change the channel on it maybe once. I've been
Well,
pretty lucky with that. But
this also says that you can use up to 8 simultaneously, but to Cheech's point,
well,
like
I think what Cheats is talking about is, obviously cable sounds better,
right,
but like I actually saw an interview with Doug Aldrich not too long ago, and he used cable like his whole life because of that issue that he had, with wireless, as far as, you know, getting the quality, what's the word I'm looking for? Connection or whatever. But
right.
so
Well,
he
and I
he
think latency would be some of it, like the delay, right?
yeah, that, and also, you lose. It's just kind of like when you have an amp and you got a bunch of pedals in front of the amp that you're playing, or like a distortion pedal, like we've talked about, like how I don't like distortion pedals in an amp because I feel it takes away from tone. Like if you already got a high gain quality amp, what do you need to throw this extra noise in there? So I think it's kind of
Right,
the same concept that when you start putting all these things in front of it, you're going to lose the quality of the tone, or I can't think of the words, the proper words to use, but I think that's where he's getting at. So, long story short, Aldridge discovered some wireless, and now he's sold on that. He's just like, I
right.
discovered this wireless, and now I'm using that, and not losing any
Right.
of that I would with cable. You know,
Well, and I also wonder, I mean, to dig deeper into using a lot of wireless stuff. So bands that are all the guitars are wireless, then you have wireless in ears. At some point, is there some sort of, and I'm just asking because I don't know, is there a lot of interference with all that?
it can be, yeah, yeah. I mean, we have picked up stuff too, through the wireless, like some
Oh, really?
Like I remember we were somewhere on tour and we just heard like some foreign language were like, "Oh, that's the Russians, they're spying on us," or something like that, you know. But yeah, you can once in a while pick up some
She
things.
said it would be a loss of quality.
Yeah,
Well,
I thought that's what he meant. And well,
there's also a law. So what is it? There's a certain amount of feet. I think is what, like 17 feet of cable. After that, they find like a degradation in the signal. I think it's 17 feet.
mhm,
But it could be. I know it's an odd number. Like that's why most cables are in this one length because
yeah,
once you go over that, you start losing some
mhm,
quality in the sound.
yeah. But the ones that I use, at least, like I said, I have zero complaints aside from the wires. You know,
Yeah.
that they need to create something that's more durable,
We need
because
to talk to them. We should have them on a show, and then
yeah,
we can chastise them.
they'll see this like, "You'll never be endorsed by our company," you know?
No, you know what? I think we do a pretty good job at being constructive with our criticism.
Sure. Well,
Like,
I mean, if anything, we're just trying to say, "Hey, these are the things that we find wrong with it, and
yeah,
these are things that we feel you can improve your product,"
right,
and
right.
it's funny because the wireless unit that we use, there's been a couple other, mutual friends of ours and other bands that had the same complaints, about it. They're
Right.
like, everything's great about it except for that, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So
we'll test this one out
yeah, yeah, I'm
if she'll
sure.
send me, I mean, I say if she'll send me, if I pay for it, she'll send it to me. But I definitely wanna try this out. I haven't been I mean, it's funny because there's a lot of new worlds that I haven't been in, and one is wireless, and now I'm playing in headphones,
Well, know what you could do when like your neighborhood deers that come to visit you or bears, you could just go outside with the wireless, have a guitar, hang out with those guys.
Yeah, last week, for anybody that watched last week, I think we were in rare form. We're talking about deer hunting, deer this, deer that,
Deer
uh,
jerky.
deer jerky. Oh, the milk. So that, not to get on the milk thing, but I saw the guy on there again today talking about milk. He worked out his milk issue with a meat place. So he's a good guy. It's tough to be a farmer. Like they have a tough way to go. Like like he's having a hard time getting. He's asking people in the community. I thought about doing it, but I'm kind of tragically city boy. I don't know. I don't know how I do around farm animals. But
Yeah.
yeah, I thought about going. Like he's asked, like, hey, can anybody in the community come here and milk? I don't know, milk a thing, milk a cow, milk a jug. I thought about it. Like, I'll go milk something. And then my wife looked at me and she was like, don't kid yourself. You're not going to milk a damn cow.
Yeah.
And, but I will club a deer in my backyard if they keep eating my stuff.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Bears.
Yeah. Let's see. Try some roasted rabbit. No. I'm not doing it. You know what? If So I'm not going to say never, because if the world keeps going the way it is, I'm fully prepared to go into hunting mode. And remember, I have my emergency seeds, and I have a lot of deer and rabbits around here. I could eat a wasquy rabbit if I'm hungry enough.
Rabbit's good eating, man. So good stuff.
Maybe one day. I hope not, because that means things got really bad and I couldn't afford chicken.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see what else. What else I wanted to talk. I earlier you made me think of something. I just said the headphones. So I've been playing through headphones a lot lately, which I have never done until you and I started exploring with it. And the difference between like going from single coils to the rail hammers, and then I plugged in like same settings on a fractal through headphones, and even one of the computer sims, like putting Fishmans through those. Woo, what a difference. Not I mean, obviously it's a sound difference, but difference in volume level. Man, they're just so much punchier. I was like, whoa, let me back down a little bit on those. So kind of interesting. And I have been playing more. I think my wife enjoys that. Every once in a while, like she'll slip out and run an errand, and I crank up the EVH a little bit and play that. But I'm actually finding I don't mind. You can hear more things through the headphones. Like you can hear, like if you're getting a little sloppy, you can hear that better, I think.
Sure.
But I'm speaking for me too, and that's 37 years of sirens in my ears too. So my ears don't hear everything like everybody else does, I'm sure. And you all with the loud music.
Yeah, that's why I need the in-ears. Anybody have any good in-ear suggestions? Please shoot them in the comments.
Yeah, definitely. Because we need to get you hooked up with those before you can't hear.
Yeah, because I'm already, getting there already. So
the other night, Blood Incantation, they weren't overly loud. Like it wasn't hateful in there at all.
Yeah, it wasn't
it was loud, but it wasn't.
It was a good volume,
Yeah.
Yeah, they sound great.
What's that?
They sounded great. Hey, they got our sound girl doing their sound.
Yeah.
She's you should congratulate her, because she's the one who made that happen.
Yeah, they sounded phenomenal. I know we said that, but they sounded really good. Is she the same one that just went to Brazil with you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. She's busy.
She came home and then out with those guys now. Yep.
Black Sabbath show. Did we talk about this? We forgot to talk about this last week, right?
Yeah, we didn't talk about it.
We didn't. We were talking about deer and rabbits last week. So let's talk about Black Sabbath. All right, Cheech, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I watched it all. Not just in increments. I've seen it all, but My opinion is, I thought Sabbath were great. You know, I mean, come on, Ozzy's got his problems, so does Bill, and they
Yeah,
pulled it off. Um,
yeah,
I'm glad they were able to do that. You know, I'm sure Ozzy especially, you know, doesn't look good for him. You know,
yeah,
he's definitely not in a good place.
yeah,
So I thought Sabbath was really good. I thought, I thought it was really cool that Metallica did Johnny Blade, which is one of my favorite Sabbath songs. And whatever you think about Guns N' Roses, their songs they chose, I thought were really cool. They did "It's All Right," "Never Say Die," Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Um, people could talk about Axl's voice or whatever. I've seen all kinds of
right,
people just bitch and moan about whatever, but he he just sounded like Axl Rose to me. He's not Ozzy. He's not that kind of singer. So he's a gruff
right,
singer. But I thought they were they they did their songs justice.
yeah,
Slayer was cool to see them do Wicked World. Because not a certain style of music that you hear Slayer playing kind of bluesy, kind of jazzy
uh-huh,
riffs. What else? It was cool to see Jakey Lee out there. Obviously, he's one of my favorite guitar players, and it's just great to see him out there, especially everything the guy just got shot and everything else that he got.
yeah,
Let's see what else. I'm trying to think of standouts. I thought Tool was pretty good. With the
mhm.
Sabbath covers. Somebody else that kind of stood out to me.
I cannot believe it's taken you so long to get to who I think stood out.
What's that?
I can't
Oh,
believe it's
oh.
taken you this long to get to who I think
Well, I mean,
Steven, yes. Oh, you know what? That's not who I was thinking, but Steven Tyler, good grief,
yeah.
man.
Right
Freak
before I
of
came,
nature.
we were watching it, me and my wife, and we were watching this. When they did the Yardbird song, and and I know he's got some shit going on too, and he would never know. He sounded
Yeah,
great, you know. So
yeah. Well, these guys are getting up there, man. That I mean, they're
yeah,
getting up there, and I mean, he still sounds great. Like, I
yeah,
don't know how much or if they sweeten his voice,
yeah. So,
electronically.
so Cheech, what is your opinion?
Yeah, Cheech. While we're waiting, so Cheech, who was your standout guitarist? Mine, I like Tool. I like seeing Tool. Standout guitarist, Nuno, I think ate everybody's lunch.
I agree, but you know who should have stood out? Like stood out, like out of the show?
Uh-oh.
Morello.
Oh, yes.
He should have just not been there. That guy is the most overrated guitar player I've ever seen.
Oh, wait a minute. No.
Talking trash now.
Cheech, no.
You thought he was the best? Oh,
No. Wait a minute. Are you saying that's who stood out? We have to Cheech, we're gonna have to dial you into this
we're not
conversation.
we're not friends no more, Cheech.
Are you messing with us? Or are you being serious? I don't wanna offend him. Cheech, we're not offending you. Look at us. We're all we're staring at the comments down there like, "What's he gonna write?"
But
Okay,
there
so why do
was
you
some
think he's
see Rudy Sarzo.
Oh, he is, okay.
All right, we're okay now. We're all good.
Oh, geez. Man, you know what? I don't know.
And it's funny when you bring up Nuno. So I think I told you this. Me and my wife went to see Steve Vai does that G something, whatever the guitar, so it was like uh Zach Wild, Yngwie, Nuno, Steve Vai, and who else played? I can't remember. So Nuno, I know he's a good player and all. I was
Yeah,
not an extreme fan or anything like that, but I I know too much about him. And me
yeah,
and her went to see them, and he is the one that stood out. He was just so fucking damn good.
yeah,
tasteful. His singing too, and yeah. So we were just kind of like when we left, we were just like, man, that guy, he was the one that really stood out to the most. And
Yeah.
I was there to see Yngwie and Steve Vai, and but yeah, he
I
really,
think
really,
he was the one that caught me, like, in the I didn't watch the whole thing, but I've seen several performances, and, like, whenever he was on stage, like, even though he had to stand next to Tom Morello, I don't know how he stomached it, but, man, it just his guitar playing is just so good and flawless,
yeah,
really
and
good.
tasteful, which is most
Yeah.
important, you know.
He said, "I think honestly all the bands had short sets, and they should have put off at least one Ozfest, if you ask me."
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that would be cool, but I think it's more of like Ozzy's health, how much he can stand being up there, and I
Yeah.
know Bill Ward has problems too, so
What do
to
you
do
know? I don't know if you've heard some of the, or you all in the comments also. I don't know if you've heard some of the, man, I hate that they do this. I hate that there's all this shit that flies around on the internet. Like it's like you want to remember people like you remember them, like Ozzy, like Ozzy. But then they have, oh, we have his isolated vocals. Well, I don't know that that's fair because a lot of, and you all would know more than me, but I think probably almost all, if not all of his vocals and almost all of his songs are kind of doubled, right?
yeah,
Like he's a master of doing that.
yeah, he's got
So when they're like throwing one layer of his voice and we're all going like, oh, geez. Well, he did sound tired, but he's tired. He has Parkinson's disease. He has issues,
I
health
I
issues.
was actually surprised that he pulled it off because the guy's, like I said, he's in really terrible shape, and I was glad that he was able to do that. At least it's for all of them, as Ozzy is a solo artist and the band Black Sabbath. I think it was, and just I was happy to see Bill Ward there. So
Right.
you know, Bill unfortunately wasn't there for the farewell tour.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because from what I understand, he's got a lot of issues, too, physically, health issues, and
Yeah.
so it's just glad that I was able to see the four of them, you know,
Yeah.
call it quits
Well,
as far as live.
it's also interesting to hear that, people that are held in that higher regard in rock and roll and metal are nervous to get on stage. Like
Yeah, well,
they talked about that, like they were like, we didn't know how it was gonna go. And it's like, man, how many times have you been on a stage? I
yeah,
guess this time was different for them and they're older. So
yeah. Some people still get that way.
well, yeah, we've talked about like when you're younger, you don't overthink shit as much as you do when you get older or
Well,
younger,
when I was like my first like technical show or whatever that I ever played, first live show, um, man, I was shaking,
Mhm.
shaking, like I was scared shitless,
Uh-huh.
and even playing, I was just like, and so, but then after that, it's just I don't know. I never ever got nervous. I'm just worried about, just the only thing I get nervous, if you want to say that, it's just you want to make sure that you have a great show,
Sure.
that you go out there and everybody kicks ass for the fans,
Yeah.
But
So what's your issue with Tom Morello, pal?
I just think he sucks.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh my God. Okay, he's trolling us now. A lot of missing bands like Motley Crue.
There are a lot of missing bands too, like Motley Crue. I
Well,
get, I get it, Motley Crue being there because Ozzy gave them their first real break. I remember that tour too. It was the Shot at the Devil and Bark at the Moon
but
tour. And
isn't Motley Crue somebody's having issues because weren't they were at the Ocean City or supposed to headline Ocean City gig and had to back out, right?
yeah,
Or was that
I think Vince Neil's got some health problems or something.
yeah. Yeah, so I think But they were so there's somebody, and I don't know if Cheech is talking about this, like, there was somebody that wanted to get paid. You
Maybe
know,
that.
there's
Maybe
been a
that.
lot of that. They thought it was Kiss, they thought it was Motley Crue, but then I heard yesterday, I don't know if this is true or not, but you never know what's true anymore.
Soundgarden was.
Soundgarden.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Well,
Alright,
hey,
so
first two Motley Crue records rule. So.
yeah, I'm okay with them. I don't know. I don't dislike them, but I was never, like, super into them. I like them, though.
First two albums. That's it. After that, I lost.
Yeah. Alright, so why don't you like Tom Morello? What's the issue? Cheech, why don't you like Tom Morello? We wanna know. Inquiring minds.
I don't know. Don't like them.
Yeah, I don't you know what? So there's a with me, it's a couple things.
His,
Like,
I mean,
I
his
go ahead.
playing is just, to me, is just nothing special.
Noise. It's
It's
noise.
there's nothing special. Whatever. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
not
I agree. And you know that, and we've already talked about this. I'm not a big fan. I used to be well, I was pretty much into alternative and Soundgarden, Smashing Pumpkins, Alice in Chains, and all that kind of shit. And I
Mhm.
liked Rage Against the Machine, and then they just got to be total, complete friggin' whack jobs. And then, once you see him play guitar, I've heard people talk. I've seen where he rates on lists as a guitar player, and I never get it.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Maybe what he does is interesting to some people. I don't find it interesting.
Nothing about it whatsoever.
Yeah, yeah. I thought I'd put you on a spot. Cheech doesn't want to answer. Cat's got his
Oh,
tongue.
I guess that means that Immolation won't be opening for Rage Against the Machine anytime soon.
Good.
You know, the rest of the guys in the band all love Rage Against the Machine, except for me.
You know, well, and so I'll tell you, like, keep in mind, I grew up like Sex Pistols, Anarchy in the USA, and all that, and fight against the man and fight against the powers that be and all that kind of stuff. And then Rage Against the Machine is raging against the machine, and next thing I know, it seems like they're for the machine. I think I'm more against the machine than they are anymore. So I don't know. Plus, he sucks ass as a guitar player. So
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
No, but you know what? But he loves his mom. He's always and when we talked the other day, I should have looked it up because I know she was like super old and she would still go to concerts with him and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so I mean,
Well, it's like when we play New York, Bob and Ross's, parents would come out and aunts and
yeah,
uncle. It's like depending on the venue, if they got a decent like VIP area where they can hang out, away from
yeah, yeah,
craziness. It's cool that they, you know, still come out, to the gigs and all that, and
well,
or hang around a bunch of crazy metal people,
yeah, and I think it's like I don't not to belabor the point any more than we already have. Like he's weird noises and guitars don't work with me. Even you know what? And I won't limit it to him with the weird noises because he's just trying to scratch like
Well,
on records. But
I
Muse,
well, see, I like kind of avant-garde, strange guitar stuff like Sonic Youth and stuff like
yeah,
that. But what he's doing, like you said, I just find it uninteresting whatsoever.
yeah.
So
He's trying to make it sound like a 1980s DJ scratching a record, and it just, for me, doesn't work. But
yeah,
neither does Bellamy with Muse and his little magical pad on the backside of it. The other thing is, Tom Morello thinks he's the enlightened one and wants to tell me what I should think um, about shit. And
yeah.
just play your motherfucking guitar.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
play your fucking guitar. I don't want to hear anything else. I know he's very smart and he's very educated. Use your education and go do something else and put your damn guitar down if you're that damn enlightened about shit.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all. That's
Yeah.
all. That is all. Cheech wasn't a huge fan. What else do we have? So we talked a little bit, and we're like at an hour and 15. So we talked about Jane's Addiction, and their little brouhaha at their concert. But they're suing Perry Farrell for $10 million. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I don't know. Like maybe that money is like, you got to figure the losses for the tour that they had to cancel that tour.
I agree.
So I get it, like because of one fucking idiot, everybody else kind of gets fucked,
Yeah. Yeah,
the
they lost because
fans, so
they were rolling and making money, and because of him and his shenanigans, they all lost out on a ton of dough on that and the rest of that tour because he couldn't control himself.
yeah.
Cheat said would have loved to have seen Judas Priest or Merciful Fate on there.
Yeah, me too, man. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the last one so for everybody watching, when we were on here for about a half hour before we went live, and we're kind of looking at events like guitar events, and you probably saw me chuckle while I was typing. This is because I found this one. I didn't tell you what it was. I just
Oh,
want to say I always like finding something to mess with you. So your boy Yngwie Malmsteen has
oh, I already
launched a
know about it.
line. What's
Yeah,
that?
go ahead.
Protein powders.
Well, it's so
He's
funny
like, I'm
because
here to pump you up. I'm going to make you a sweet pick as fast as I can pick.
well, it's funny because Bob sent me that. He's like, "Are you gonna get this?"
Great minds think alike. Thank you, Bob. I saw that. That's what I was laughing about when I was typing. I didn't tell you that. Yngwie Malmsteen, you will sleep sweet pick, and you're a girly man. You'll pick as
I
fast
thought
as
it was
me.
a joke, but I'm like, "Oh, all right,"
Yeah, I saw
And he's
that.
got
I had
everything else, so
Phew, boy, if there's a way
I
to
mean,
make
what are his other things that he loves in life? He loves Porsches and he loves Rolexes.
Oh, really?
Maybe he can get the Yngwie J Malmsteen signature Porsche.
Wow. How much
Nah,
is that, I wonder?
I'm joking. But
Yeah.
that's interesting. Protein
Well,
powder. Hmm.
it's funny because if there's a signature Porsche, could you imagine what the cost would be? Because they take a Born potentiometer and put his initials on it, and no shit, quadruple the price.
So how much is that protein powder, by the way? Does it say?
I don't know. I didn't look that up. I didn't get that. Wait a minute. Let's see. I think I left it up.
Yeah, I may just have to buy it just because.
Oh, geez. I lost it. It was on here some oh, wait a minute.
One of these days, Roger, you're gonna discover the magic of Yngwie Malmsteen. Yngwie J Malmsteen.
No, I don't dislike him, but he's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Um, but there's a lot of shit that I like that nobody else would get either. I'm trying to find it. Where was that? I don't know. I lost it. There. So, what is everybody looking at before we come to a close on guitars? I'm noticing. Oh, wait a minute. Here. Cheech is always good for a one-liner. He said he never practiced a day in his life. He just plays. Of course. And
I kind of relate to that, because like practicing, if this is what he means by that, Yngwie, is when I first started playing guitar, I would come home from school and sit there with guitar for hours and just play through, scales and learning chords and, familiar myself with the guitar, with the neck and, and so I used to do a lot of that. And then once I kind of learned to write my own stuff, I just never did that anymore.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what he means by practice. Like you're just sitting there, just going, doing scales or whatever. But I stopped doing it. Maybe I should start doing that again. I should start practicing. But maybe
Well,
that's what he
when
means
you're
by
playing at night, what are you playing?
at night. I'll
Yeah.
just fuck around trying to come up with riffs and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I mean, once in a while, I'll just fuck around, like doing solo stuff or whatever. But just for me, it's just like you know, throwing in notes that shouldn't be there and see what happens.
Yeah.
That makes any sense.
Well, so
That's what
people
makes it
watching
for me.
this and your fans probably don't realize that you don't play covers.
No, and when I first started playing guitar, which first thing I ever learned on the guitar we're talking about Black Sabbath, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and then I learned Kiss and Maiden and Priest and a bunch of stuff. But once I discovered like, hey, I can just write my own stuff, then you don't want to do that anymore. So I've never been interested in that, um,
Yeah.
covers and all. I just wanted to make my own music. But
Right.
I get it. Playing covers is fun too,
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
Well, no, I didn't mean it as a bad thing. I found it interesting, and I think that there are people that would watch this and find that interesting, like that somebody that can play as well as you do, but you're not interested in playing covers or anybody else's music. You play your own.
yeah, I mean, I do it from time to time. I've done it, like
Yeah.
with other bands, like for fun or something. Like when Dio died, we did. When I used to play an Incantation, we did a little Dio tribute. We did. What we did? We did Stargazer by Rainbow, and we did Mob Rules by Black
Uh-huh.
Sabbath, and yeah, stuff like that's fun,
Yeah.
But I would do covers, like just a bunch of stuff that I like. Probably
Mhm.
nobody would want to watch that, but like doing like new wave British heavy metal stuff or 70s
Well
hard rock, you know.
well, Friday night, we said we were gonna make a cover band.
We got to do it, you know,
Let's do it.
you know.
Well, I mean, there's a couple different ideas, just a cover band, and then the Mustang Sally cover band.
Mustang
It's
Sally,
like,
that's
what's the set list? Mustang Sally.
yeah,
What's song number 5? Mustang Sally.
yeah.
Because that's what all the old people with the Eagles and the Mooses want.
That's
All the
awesome.
animal clubs. "Can you play Mustang Sally again?" What's
Yeah,
she say?
it's my
When is
song.
Roger putting out the
Next week,
That'll never that'll never happen.
I'm going to produce Roger. I'm going to make it happen. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, one day he and I are gonna one day he's gonna get some creativity out of me, but that remains to be seen. Like, I can monkey see, monkey do, but I don't know, and I was talking to somebody yesterday, and it kinda the same conversation. It's like, very regimented in our thinking and kinda like, you know, in the box, if you will. Don't delve outside of the box much.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: if you already made up your mind that you're not going to do something, do it. Or you sit there and say, "I'm going to do this," and you're going
I
to do it.
didn't make up my mind I was gonna do that, it just did it. I didn't say I wanna do that. It just ended up there. I need to get out of that. I need to expand.
Yeah.
I need to open my mind. So, last thing is, like, well, what's everybody seeing on guitars? Because so I'm still I've talked about, like, trends in guitar service, and, like, I'm still kinda steady, but I kinda can't gauge it because I know people like, I use an app where people can go in and look at my schedule, and they can schedule themselves in, and I think people are aware that I don't have availability next week, so they probably realize I'm going to be sitting on a beach. So that, and I appreciate the fact they don't want to get their guitars in here and leave them here for the week while I'm gone, or 4 days is what we're going to be gone. So I kind of can't gauge it by that, but it does seem like it's slow-ish. But I do have, when I get back, I have like a refred and some bigger jobs coming in that are already lined up. But I'm hearing, not only in the guitar industry, but other industries, like things are a little bit slow. But I'm also noticing, and you look at guitars probably as much as I do, prices seem to be down, but you don't see as many. It seems like the cool guitars aren't out there and as plentiful as they were. And I have 3 for sale right now, and a lot of views on them, but not a lot of offers. Everybody wants a friggin' trade.
Yeah.
Good grief.
But there's some good stuff out there for good price point. To get now stuff.
But it seems like remember, there used to be like a glut out there when you were looking for it. Now it seems like some of that, like the good stuff, maybe got snagged up. There's another thing we need to explore, maybe for a future one, is I've heard a lot of talk. So we know there's Reverb, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, but is it Guitar Exchange on Sweetwater? I'm curious about exploring that. So I think Sweetwater started a Guitar Exchange. I don't know a lot of details about it, but it goes back to the old days of Reverb before they would. I mean, Reverb destroys you with fees now and shipping and lump fees and all that. So maybe we need to explore that and put that as a topic for 1 week when we're talking.
Yeah.
Kind of talk about that, because I'm interested. I've heard it mentioned on other podcasts, but then I forget to go in. I've looked at it once, but I haven't really gotten to go into it. I may actually list something on it and see how it goes. So, and then, so we're talking to Kaler to get some reps from Kaler on the channel, as you know, but just letting everybody else know. Talk about some of the old Kalers and where they come from. We talk about Floyd's a lot on here, so I think it would be kind of cool to talk about Kaler, some of their new stuff that's out now, because they have some cool new stuff. Next week we have, if anybody wants to look her up prior, Emily Woodhull. It's Emily Woodhull Music. She's going to be on. She sings. She calls it Americana music. It's sort of country-ish. She is from DC, and y'all will hear this next week when she's on. She is really. I talked about her before, so she's really good about the business side of her music, which is really what intrigues me about her. She's also super talented. Good singer, good voice, writing her own music, doing some work in Nashville, and really heavily on social media, which I think is new and interesting.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that. She knows, the business, and that's important, because I could speak for myself and pretty much all my fellow musicians that I've known over the decades that are, in the business, is none of us knew about the business side of things, and that's been going on forever now. And so if if you're talented and the business, well, that is a major plus,
Right.
It's hard to trust people and handle your finances and things like that. And so, and that's tough to do, because when you're a musician, you just want to worry about being creative. You don't want to be bothered by the ugly business, which it is. It's a horrible, ugly business. Don't do it, kids. So, but yeah. So I'm curious to hear, what she has to say, and
Well, and it's so I know I had a conversation with him. We're gonna do a lunch when I get back from the beach. I worked with him. He worked in public safety here, and lo and behold, he actually Joe's band. Everybody
Oh,
knows Joe. He's been on here before. Joe's new band. What is it? Citizen X.
Citizen X.
So he's going to be doing their booking. So we had a conversation yesterday, and coming out of public safety, the music world is different for us. We have a very government, different way of thinking. So I told him there's kind of different tiers of bands, at least on the local and maybe even touring bands. You have bands that are businesses, and then you have bands that are we're just making some drinking money, some beer money, and then you have one person and a guitar playing for whatever. And it's interesting to see that. So when you see somebody come in here and says, I'm a business and I do this and write off and taxes and all that, that side to me is interesting. That's a side that I don't think some bands pay enough attention to. But I think that the line is like when you decide you're going to make music a career, that's where you've crossed the line, and you need to get more formal with it.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah, because you just pass through the hobby part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyways, it'll be good having Emily on next week. She's really cool. I like her a lot. She's mostly acoustic, but good voice. Really, really big on social media. Look her up, Emily Woodhull Music. And she will be with us next week, and then we'll be laying out more people, and then sometimes it'll be just you and I BSing in here like this. So, all right, you good? Everybody good? Cheat, you good? Everybody watching good? So I hope this was a good experience for everybody. We just kind of came up with some random topics tonight. I will follow up with my Cheech. I don't know if you got to see it, man. The finished product.
Mm-hmm.
Got the Fishman in it. Got the
and you have
nuts.
Yeah, and the Godo.
Yeah, lock tuners.
You know what? Can I
we
see
did
that?
have.
Are you able to get that nut a little bit closer? I'm curious how that looks.
No, so you know what? And here's a thing. So I'll work myself right out of a job on this one. So that unlock nut, I mean, the locking nut is 2 screws. You take off the blocks and there's 2 screws. And you have to make sure you get the right size, because I think they have 2 different sizes, and it literally fit directly in the place. Like no sanding, and I'm sure there's guitars you're going to have to make adjustments to. But it fit right in the place of the locking nut. And it looks great in there. Like there's no gaps, no weirdness. And it's exactly like man, it's hard. I keep hitting the arms on this chair. So you can see it's just as wide, and it even fits like the truss rod cover right there. I didn't have to make any adjustments to that. It fit completely in the area. There's the side view. So yeah, they did a good job, man. No, and it's something like this is something that's pretty. I mean, if it turns out to be good, and I'll let y'all know next week after I play it for a week. If that turns out to be something that somebody's interested in, that's a little different than like Graphtech nuts are pretty easy, but they don't always fit perfectly. So you're always making adjustments. You may have to make adjustments to the width, make sure your E to E spacing's right and all that kind of stuff. But these are kind of no fuss, no muss, man. Pop the old one off, pop that one in, a couple dabs of CA glue so it doesn't move around. You're good to go. So yeah, cheat. So that was what we talked about earlier. So we'll see how it goes. I'll fill everybody in next week. Yeah, cool. Good. So everybody, like wherever it is. For me, it's right there. Like and subscribe, so we can keep bringing these in. We've picked up a couple of subscribers. We're still like I say it a lot, man. It's a grind. I think we go up to like 285, then we're back down to 284 because we bored somebody, I guess. So, yeah,
right.
so like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Right.
Hopefully, I won't look like a lobster next week. I'll put on sunscreen, but I'll be sitting on the beach starting Sunday if anybody's in Virginia Beach.
All
Take
right,
care.
guys. Good night.
See you later.